Okay, so I just got done watching Resident Evil Apocalypse. I'm slowly making my way through this franchise, and I have seen majority of these movies before. I've seen, I've seen from four and onwards, and these first three movies, I don't recall watching. So these are first viewings for me. I'm really excited to watch these movies because like last time I watched this franchise, I remember liking it, and I will probably like review like some of these Resident Evil movies, at least the ones I haven't seen yet. So then that way, like it kind of keeps my the reaction and my review kind of like it's like I don't know what I will think going in, and then because I know this franchise gets like a shit ton of hate. I know there are a lot of people out there that hate this franchise, um, but I think for me, going into these movies, I haven't played the games, so I can only judge these movies on what I see, and on a filmmaking standpoint, I can't look at them from a comparison from movie to game or game to movie. I can't look at it from that perspective. I'm sure a lot of gamers will look at these Resident Evil movies like as a part of the games or as a representation of the games. But for me, like I want a good story, and I want some cool action sequences. I want some Michael Bay stuff, I guess, is it, if you will, where it's just explosions like non-stop. It's just like zombies coming non-stop at the screen, like shooting up zombies. Like I want to see that. I want to see that in this kind of movie. And before I get into my review for Resident Evil Apocalypse, I'm going to give you a quick review on what I thought of the first movie. The first movie, it was never going to be an action-packed movie. And I think when they were making that first one, I don't think they were going for an action route. They were going for more of a story focus, because the first movie focuses more on the actual T virus like getting out there, and what we see in Apocalypse. It's a continuation from what we see in that first movie. We see how the T virus exactly started, because that was the thing for me when I watched like Afterlife and those other sequels. I was always wondering, like, how did this T virus get out, because it's always one of the main questions throughout this franchise is how did it start, like what does it do, what is the T virus and the antivirus. In this movie, a lot of that is explored in this sequel. But I think, as for what I did think of the first movie, it's like I enjoyed it. Like there are some fun, entertaining moments. It does, it does like it's more of a, it does resonate more with characters and more with the actual plot, which I think that's the reason why the first movie has the best reception compared to a lot of these sequels, where it's just zombies and like a lot of blood and guts and shooting and a lot of actions and explosion. Where these ones don't so much focus on story. I feel like the story is still here in Apocalypse, and since I'm watching these movies in order now, like the story, it might be different for me. Like I might have a different opinion for someone who hasn't played the games. But yeah, like I enjoyed the first movie. It's definitely dated. It's definitely The first movie is definitely dated. If you look at some of the CGI in 2021, um, it looks awful. Like there's this CGI like dragon or beast type thing that's attacking like this train at the end, and like it looks like something that could be created on Microsoft Paint. Like I'm sure when that first movie came out back in the 2000s, I'm sure like it would have looked really good. But looking at it from today's standpoint, looking at how far computer generated effects have come, it does look dated. But like really, that's only like a minor problem. Like I won't say like that's a problem with the movie, but it is something like when you look at some of the action in it, it does take away from a lot of the intensive value of that sequence. But yeah, and I also really liked that they played a Slipknot song in the after credits. Huge Slipknot. fan here, so I was really glad about that. I really liked it. I did not expect them to play Slipknot in the after credits, so that was a surprise, and it was a good surprise. So yeah. Anyways, let's jump right into Resident Evil Apocalypse. What did I think of this movie? I enjoyed this movie a lot more than the first. Some people might disagree with me on that, but this gave me, I guess, more. This gave me more of what I did want to see in the first. It's definitely a more action-packed sequel. It's more action-heavy. There's a lot more explosions going on here, so it does. There's a lot more of an entertainment factor to this movie. And like if you're just there to see zombies and shooting and action and violence, this movie definitely does deliver on that. And I think all the action in this movie, I think is pretty good. It's entertaining as far as it's shot pretty well. There were some pretty good shots in the movie. That brings up my next point: the cinematography. Okay, this will be a controversial point, especially going more into this franchise, because this franchise there's a lot of jump cutting, which for myself I don't mind that. Which I know a lot of people, I know, fucking kill me in the comments, fucking say you are wrong. I don't care. I'm like, as much as I'm not the biggest fan, I think it can be done right. Um, like, like to me, like I just look at it as just another editing style. Like, I mean, there's a standard cut, there's a standard, editing. But yeah, jump cutting, like I just look at that as another like editing style. And if they want to edit their movie in that way, sure, go ahead. It's like, it's not our movie, it's your movie. You present it to the audience the way you want to present it. I have nothing against that. And I think the way it's done in here, like I don't mind, honestly. I don't mind. Um, there are some scenes where the camera is shaky and it is very jump cutty. It's like it's hard to be like, well, where are we looking? Are we looking over here? It's like it's that. Like there was one scene with a helicopter at the end of the movie. It's all like fucking shaky cam and shit. It's like it's really hard to focus. But when the camera is focused, it's like when it's jump cutting from from character to character and close ups and medium shots and all those different kinds of shots, like it doesn't look too bad. So, but yeah, that's just my opinion. I know people will disagree with me on that, but at the same time, this is my opinion. This is my thoughts on my first viewings, on my first viewing of this movie. So yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is Nemesis. I really like the way they did this character, like the way they progressed from the first movie into this movie with the character of Matt becoming Nemesis. Like I really like that story. I think it makes for some great sequences throughout this movie, especially at the end when it's when it is Alice and Nemesis facing off. Like I think there's some really, I guess, heartfelt moments there, because like there's like a scene where Matt like recognizes Alice, and like there's still that human part to him, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that was great writing. I thought that was a really cool moment between Alice and Matt, because it makes their relationship in the first movie much stronger, comparing it to the sequel. And so yeah, that I really liked. And as far as the actual look of Nemesis, I really enjoyed. Like I think Nemesis looks badass. I think that is a really cool practical jumpsuit. I think everything that they did, like structure and design wise and all of that, amazing. I think Nemesis looks really cool. And when he shows up, he's badass. He's just tearing through. He's just using his fucking minigun, just shooting everyone. And yeah, I thought his appearance in this movie like was really cool. And yeah, like Nemesis, he does propose a threat in this movie, which is what you want. And there are some intense scenes with Nemesis in this movie. And this movie isn't directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. I believe after what's the next movie after this? Extinction. There we go. I haven't seen it yet, but like I was just trying to remember, because like I have it on DVD and all that. I think after Extinction, every single movie in this franchise is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, but this movie was directed by, by Alexander Witt. I don't know what other movies this guy has done, but this definitely does feel like a Paul W.S. Anderson, and he wrote the screenplay for Apocalypse, and every movie like in this franchise he also produced this one as well. But he did take a backseat in the directing of this movie, and he handed it over to Alexander, and like there is a little bit of a difference, but I think for the most part, the first movie and this movie, like if you're looking at it from a tone wise, it does feel very much the same in the way that the tone shifts, and the way that the editing, and the way that the action is shot and edited. It definitely feels very much like that first movie. Um, let's see what else is to talk about. Another thing I really liked is this is a much bigger scale. This is a much larger movie than the first. The first one was a very defined one location movie. The second one, it is out in Raccoon City, so it's a much bigger location. There's a much bigger budget. There's a much bigger scale to it. There's a much more bigger horde of zombies, and like I really like that. There is an okay sense of atmosphere here. Like you do get the sense of like whether Raccoon City, like in the first few minutes of the film starting, of whether like Raccoon City is like it, whether it's like a busy city or whether it's a quiet like little town. Well, sorry, I should have said town from the start. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I am like I'm tired, so fuck. But yeah, Raccoon City. So yeah, like you do get that sense of whether it's busy or whether it's quiet, and so yeah, there is pretty good atmosphere built here. I would say, um, and yeah, like I really I'm trying to think actually. Like I think the characters in this, and I think the performances are pretty good. There is a comedic relief in here, which, if I'm being honest, there were some scenes where the comedy did work in this movie. Some people, like I said, this review is going to be controversial as fuck, because I know how much people don't like these sequels. I know how much people like hate on them, but like here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like Resident Evil, like you aren't going there for like a realistic action like adventure drama story. You aren't going there like expecting to be realistic. Like you're going there, seeing zombies. You like these movies are made to be fictional, so like they can that they can do shit that you wouldn't really see. I mean, like I understand that there has to be that state of realism in it, but I mean, for a movie like this, I mean, like for the people who play games, I can see why you would view it differently to how like the general public would go to these movies. But for me, I feel like these movies, like I'm just going there like wanting to be entertained, like wanting to see like Alice kill some zombies, wanting to see some really badass action, some really cool explosions, and just being like entertained for 90 minutes. And I think this movie does its job as being entertaining. I'm trying to forget what else. Like the ending of the movie. Okay, the ending of the movie, I really liked. If I'm being honest, the ending of the of actual like Raccoon City like exploding and all that, and getting rid of all the zombies there. Like I really liked that. I thought that was a really cool looking shot. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, like this movie, I really enjoy. Like I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but at the same time, like what can you do? Like that's the beauty of film, is having different of opinions. So yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, like I'm curious to know what you guys think of Apocalypse. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really liked all the performances. I liked the action. I liked the explosion. I liked the world building in this. Like the cinematography maybe could have been better, and certainly, actually speaking of that, certainly some of the writing. The writing in this movie. There was one part of this movie, well, one little portion of it, where I was just like, what the fuck is this? Where I was literally just cringing. I was just like, what? At a few of the lines being said in this movie. Like, it's, yeah, like some of the dialogue in this movie is really bad. But then in other parts, it's actually okay. But there's this other parts where conversations, it's just like where there is no flow, and it's you hear so many odd responses from characters in this. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Let me know down in the comments if you have seen Apocalypse and what did you think of it. Did you like it? Did you think it was meant, or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night, and wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.